good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm GB, your host for Upper 90 Plus. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. And have an exciting show for you this evening. Continuing on with our goalkeepers. We had Austin on last week, a little younger generation, talking to you about his philosophy on goalkeeping at a young start age, going into now into his as he's under 20. So this time I'm going to bring on a veteran goalkeeper and someone who I've known for over 20 years. We've had many battles on the pitch, returned into great friends off the pitch, and just stay in touch with each other and checking in with each other as often as possible. Gentleman by the name of Jeff Spraker, and Central Florida Soccer League. We both play in. You'll know the face when he comes on. So I'm going to bring him on.
No pressure there.
There's
Glenn,
the man.
how are you, sir?
Yeah.
Nice
Hi,
to
good
see
evening.
you, sir.
Hey, great
Always
to
a
have you
pleasure.
on, man. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, right? Coming back full circle after those battles in early 2000s, right? I think you even scored a couple of goals from me from time to time, but I think I had some saves in there too.
I think you actually let me score the goals just to kind of get boost my ego up, right? I
appreciate that. You earned everything you scored on me. Phenomenal player. So thanks for having me on.
Thank you, and I appreciate you coming on. So we're talking about your position that you, of course, know very well, and really want to emphasize about getting your philosophy on what you do on the pitch as you're playing, and then maybe afterwards a little bit of what you do off the pitch to kind of prepare your mindset for after games, before games, and things like that. So. I'll just start with a first basic question. First of all, what age and event piqued your interest in football?
Wow, that's a great question to start off with. And I could tell you, Glenn, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was 14 years of age and I was sitting at my soon-to-be high school. I was in 8th grade and I was watching my brother Scott play soccer at Lake Howell High School. And it was a cool winter evening. It was I think their second or third home game that I went to, and just the atmosphere and just the excitement on the field. And I really wasn't introduced to soccer at that point. I just knew what I saw and I liked. And, after kind of watching a few games, I decided, you know what, I was playing baseball at the time as a youngster and wanted to kind of move up to another sport. So I said, you know what, why not soccer? So right around that 13th, 14th age group that I decided that, you know what, that was the place for me.
Very nice. Okay. All right. And so was it like a competitive thing that you said, I want to do what he's doing?
Absolutely. Right.
I would join him. What was the edge?
Sure. So I like baseball. I actually like football too. So I like catching, athletic sports. And I thought, you know what, let's try a soccer, right? Something new for me. And then coincidentally, my brother was on the team. I wanted to kind of check it out. And, he was an outstanding goalkeeper back in his day. So kind of set the bar pretty high for me. But it was exciting to kind of get out and be part of a team sport that I had not played that before. So it was exciting times.
Nice. All right. So teenage years. All right. That was a big thing for you.
Yes.
All right. So get to the next one. So as you just stated, how old were you when you started playing? So we just discussed that. So the next question, what position did you play when you started? Would you just start off as goalkeeper?
Or well, I wanted to emulate my brother and I wanted that position, right? Because, it was like the centerpiece of the field. And I thought that I had the ability, based upon, playing baseball and football and things like that, that type of team sport mentality. But, getting out there, I tried a few other positions just in like practice, but I kind of went back to the goalie days. And I knew once I was in there and a coach ran a few drills for me, as I started my practice there on my freshman year, I knew that was the position that I wanted to achieve, right? I had to earn it. Nothing was given to me. So that's where I kind of, knew during the summers as I got geared up for high school soccer and worked hard over the summer just to kind of get my skill sets.
Okay. Thank you for enlightening us with that. Mm-hmm. All right. So the next one is now, when did you know you wanted to become a goalkeeper?
Well, I could tell you after the first few practices and being able to, do, what my brother was doing and kind of watching other, games, and kind of the goalkeeper was like this, again, the centerpiece of the action, right? And there's so many different positions on a soccer field, but, everything starts and stops at the goalkeeper line, right? It's the last position that the ball goes by. So I'm like, I wanted to challenge myself to see what could I do from, avoiding that ball to go in. And again, it's a team sport. Don't get me wrong. And we'll talk about that.
Of course.
But it was something that appealed to me, and it was a challenge.
Excellent. Thank you for that information as well. All right. So how many years have you been playing the position?
All right. So do you have a calendar on you? Because there's many, many years. So I'm blessed to say, Glenn, that I've been playing for 4 decades. Right. So I started in the early 80s, like I mentioned, in high school, and was there for 4 years. And then after high school, joined a team that is beloved to me, my second family, my second group of brothers, as they call them. That's the Pars.
Right.
So kind of took my career to where I'm at today. Been on that same team for 33, 34 years.
Wow.
And, a lot of great people, and never look back, never missed a season. Every season that we played, I was there, and blessed to be there. And during that time, just met so many wonderful people, and just kind of kept that passion for soccer alive.
Right. And that's the thing about our sport, you build friendships, and like you said, you go into brotherhood, but you really get involved in the folks that you are playing with, as far as after games, the camaraderie, the hangout sessions, you go to eat afterwards and things like that. And just to hear the conversations among the group, because of course our groups are very eclectic, you know what I mean? And because it's a sport, you're dealing with different nationalities and things like that. So it's neat because you kind of gel together as a team on the pitch, but then off the pitch, you also gel together and find out about different cultures and things like that. So what fascinated you about the whole culture once you really started playing and saying, wow, this guy's a nationality, this guy's a nationality? What did you learn at first about nationalities? Talk to me about that.
Well, I learned some of the languages between the two, and I don't know if I could say that on this show, so I'm sure this is G-rated, but no, all seriousness, so, something that you alluded to, right? I've got some images and some photos, when I started with the Pars, some that are, had children, right, as little as, 2 months I'm holding, right? And they're 6-year-old, 7-year-old is flagging soccer balls behind the goals, right? And now these young people are playing soccer on our team, right? And some are in school and colleges pursuing their dreams. And to be a part of that, and it's just been something special through the years for me, and something that I've never taken for granted. But to your point earlier, Glenn, there's the nationalities, some of the celebrations and things that we've had. And, I've learned a lot about different cultures and different things that are important to different nationalities. And I think that's the backside of soccer, right? That's the things that you learn on the off seasons, on off times. And I think has always brought us closer together.
Yes, you're correct on that one. Beautiful, man. All right. So what did you do to get better each year as a footballer? What did you do specifically?
Well, I'll tell you, we didn't have the internet back then, right? So you had to rely on your coaches.
Look at your beeper and learn. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. And the drills that they set for you. So I think that set the foundation for me, right? I had a lot of great mentors, and I had 2 mentors, and I really would like to call them out. A great man by the name of Norman White. Unfortunately, he passed several years ago, but he was my JV coach, and he was assistant coach at the time. And just some of the passion he had for the players, and just the commitment of drill sets and routines, and doing things in a way that is going to separate you from other teams. So he was one. And I had a goalkeeper coach by the name of Brian Holton, that unfortunately we kind of passed ways several years ago. Kind of lost contact, but he worked with me. He was on the varsity team, and he spent a lot of time with me on the off seasons and on fields that, in the heat in the summer, and just drill after drill after drill. And he showed me a lot. And like I said early on, my brother and I kind of talk shop from time to time, and he gave me some great tips as well. And like I said, he motivated me to play.
Okay. So were you more of a visual drill? You can watch someone do it and then do it?
Yeah. Well, no, I had to, for me, that sense of learning, that's a great question, right? I mean, I had to have it modeled to me first, so I can get the mechanics and the exact ways to do things. And, it may seem very basic, but, in the goalkeeper positions, there's different moves, there's different strategies. And it's important to know that, you got to learn the fundamentals first before you go out and do some of these fancy dives and some of these moves and some of the things that, you don't have the experience to. So I worked toward building myself up to that point, right? I didn't feel like, hey, at the beginning, I needed to do too much. I did what was acceptable for me and what my capabilities were. And I didn't waver from that. And that was important to me, right? I didn't want to be bigger than I was, right? But I grew into a player that learned from his mistakes. So the more that I was coached, the more mistakes I made, the better off I became because I learned from them.
Okay. Now, as far as you got older in the sport too, I mean, as far as your body, what did you do as it progressed, and what did you realize that, okay, I need to do something to make sure I stay at the same level? How did you do as far as your fitness, your body wise? What did you?
Yeah, that took a little while, right? When you're in your mid-teens and your 20s and your 30s, you feel like you're invincible, right? Nothing's going to happen to me, right? And then you hit that plateau where things start to slow down a little bit. So for me, I just built up to it, right? I didn't try to do too much, but it was consistency, right? Get into the weight room, get into the physical fitness, get your routines. I started to pick up a lot of running, a lot of cardio, but then kind of offset that with a lot of weightlifting, at the gym. And, again, had my routines, 30 minutes, an hour. I didn't try to do too much. I wanted to make sure that my body, progressively built naturally, right? I didn't want to put myself where I just did too much and then I risk injury. And then how I sustained it was just kind of again, once I felt my body getting stronger, definitely getting into those drills, right? Some of those things that are important to keep the body limber, right? You're moving all over that field, right? You're jumping, you're falling to the ground, you're getting banged into by, aggressive players, right? That's the nature of the game. And if you're not prepared for that, you're going to find yourself, injury prone.
Excellent. So speaking of the injuries, have you had any major injuries or surgeries?
Nothing major. I mean, I had a couple of stitches here or there, had a couple of swollen ankles, but blessed to say that nothing that's taken me off the field for an extended period of time.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that. So what foot do you use to punt the ball? I was like to ask that.
I'm a left-footed kicker. So, I usually keep the ball pretty low to the ground to get that force of trajectory to kind of get the ball up high. But I'm also a strategic player as well, right? For me, it's important to understand that, you got to look at your conditions, right? So if the weather is picking up, the wind's picking up, right? I'm aiming for the fences, right? I'm going to allow the elements to help me get that ball flight. But if the wind is a little bit, in your face and, it's going to come back to you, try to keep it a little lower or, and be able to make sure I'm maximizing the distance I'm getting with my kicks.
Okay. All right. Thank you. When did you start using both of your feet, and how did you learn to do that?
Yeah, it sounds pretty simple, right? But it was a challenge, and I don't really use my feet to punt or goal kick the ball. It's mainly as I come and maneuver out of the box, right? Okay. So if I'm a predominantly left-footed kicker, and the ball's coming to the right side, right, I could save valuable steps by being flexible with my right foot. So really, I kind of worked that into my routine during practices, right? And again, that's to me getting out of my comfort zone, right? When you're just normally using a left foot, mixing it up from time to time, not only builds the flexibility, but it also builds confidence that when you need it, it's there for you.
Right, it's there. Got you. Now, as far as, like you said, you come out of the box and things. As far as nowadays, I see like the players standing in front of you while you're trying to kick the ball or whatever, what have you. I mean, does that irritate you? Do it cover you off a little bit, or do you just go ahead and just move them out the way and take charge, or how does that affect you?
Yeah, and for me, it's a challenge, right? And that's the aggressiveness of some teams, and that's part of the game. Right. One of the things I learned pretty quickly as some of those players took advantage of it, and I kind of allowed them to kind of invade my space. Right. You were one of them. Absolutely.
You did call me out.
I did. But for me, I have to assess the situation, right? So first thing that I started doing now, and this is probably about 10, 12 years ago, I'd announce that to the referee. I just say, hey, referee, number 8, he's standing right in front of me. I know you can see him, but I can see him too, and he's in my space. So just so you know, So I share that because that way, at least that player knows that the referee is now watching him, right? So, but I still try to either put myself in front of him or move one of my players into him. So that way I'm kind of moving him out of the space. But again, every situation is different. And some of the players, they'll stand right on the line with you. And that's where I have to continuously go in front of them, call the referee, and also maybe get a little bit of support from my teammates and kind of move them gently into that player.
Into the player. That's smart. So, anyone out there learning this position, as you heard that, move that player into that position. I would have never thought to do that, but hey, you're a goalkeeper, so that's what you do. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So, the next question: how vocal are you as a goalkeeper, and how important is it to be vocal?
It depends on who you ask. If you ask my players today, it's way too much. So I've had to balance that out a little bit, but I'm going to give you my philosophy on that, right? I wasn't a talking goalkeeper. I wasn't at all. I see the field. I see the guy that's wide open. The guy that's wide open gets the ball. Now he gets a nice shot. I'm like, I need to do something about that. And that was early on, right? In my high school days and a little bit into CFSL early years. And then as I kind of progressed, I just wanted to let my teammates, I'm going to share with you what I see. Right. So, very simple signals or verbiage of, hey, open on the left, open on the right, watch the offsides, and we've had so much chemistry with the pars is that all I ask for is acknowledgement. Raise your hand. You heard me. I always tell them, you do what's best for you. I'm just telling you what I see. I see the whole field. I see it a lot more than you do based upon where I'm positioned. And for me, if I can help the team by acknowledging where the opportunities are for them to get the ball down the field, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And like I said, from time to time, I'm probably the loudest guy on the field, but I'm okay with that. If it means I'm putting my team in a position to win and do my part as part of the team to succeed, I'll continue to do that.
Okay. So have you had any pushback sometimes from players when you are vocal to them? And
you know what? I have from time to time because I think at times, right, based upon the tone of the voice, when the play is coming towards you, the intensity of the voice seems to rise a little bit. So I've had to learn to tone it down a little bit because I think I throw them off a little bit. So I've learned that as well. But again, being blessed with 33 years with the PARS team and the amount of chemistry that we've had with each other, it's known to be expected now. And again, it's not me telling everybody what to do. It's me telling them what I see.
What you see.
A lot of that, what I see, it helps them get back into position and prevent the easy goal opportunities from happening.
Very nice. Well said. Well said. Appreciate that. And how often do you give directions to your teammates? I mean, is it, like you said, it depends on the situation, I'm sure.
It's throughout the entire game, right?
Okay.
And a lot of that too is praise, right? Absolutely. If someone does a great move or a kick out or a save, the ball coming my way, absolutely. It's just not about the direction. It's about the spirit of camaraderie between teammates to be able to make them understand that, hey, look, you know what, we're in this together. And I think the more that we're vocal about it in a professional way, I think the better the game becomes.
Beautiful. Thank you. And do you prefer punting the ball or throwing, and then why? Which one is your favorite?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to me, it all depends on the situation, right? So, hey, look, if we're winning the game, right, and it's 2-1 and we got 20 minutes to go, I'm slowing the ball down. I'm looking for the best possible opportunity. I'm going to get my full 6 seconds. And then if there's nobody in the back to throw to that's has a clear path moving up, then I'll punt it. But for me, it's all about, assessing the situation as a goalkeeper, right? You got to assess it pretty quickly. And for me, I've learned through the years that, when this ball comes to me, I'm already predetermining what I'm doing with it, right? I could tell when someone's getting ready to shoot or they're getting close to me. So I'm looking at the field and even during that time, being able to assess quickly, okay, if I get this ball, if he shoots it, this is where I'm going to it. And I typically do not go back. If I'm throwing it, I'm not going back to the same area that the ball came from, right? So if it came to me from the left, I'm looking to the right, or I'm looking down the middle. So, but again, if we're behind and we got to hurry it up and I see a couple of people up the field, I'm going to take a chance for every once in a while. And most of the time I make that known during, whether it's halftime, if we're behind, or, we know we got to get an early goal. Hey, be aware, I'm looking for you. The wind's in a good position. And the first couple of balls that I get, I'm going to punt them. So again, that communication to keeping everybody on track.
On the same page, exactly. Because that's key. That is definitely key. So when do you decide to come out of the goal compared to staying in the goal?
Oh, this I learned by trial and error, right? There's some times where I've gone out and I look like the worst player ever, and I miss getting to the ball by like 10 feet. Like I come out and someone takes a shot, it goes over my head, right? So I've learned through the years, if you're going to go out, two things you got to know. You got to commit to coming out all the way, and you got to know you got to get that ball. Because if you don't, you're leaving your team very vulnerable of a very cheap goal. And I'm happy to say that 9 out of 10 times when I come out of the goals, it's been the right decision for me.
Okay, so now this is not one of the questions, but have you ever gotten a red card for coming out and causing?
I have. Unfortunately, and I've only had 2 red cards my entire 33-year career.
Wow,
only two, and they happened over the last 3 or 4 years. And the last one that I got was in a semifinal game. I came out almost at midfield. I just saw the ball coming, and the ball took a wrong bounce. I was there, and then unfortunately the ball took a wrong bounce, and the guy came around beside me, and I just leaned into him, and I didn't tackle him, but he came to the ground.
Right. But he came around.
Unfortunately, I was the last man back, and based upon rules, that I was the last man back. It's a red card.
And that's
the other situation was kind of same or similar, but it was in the heat of the moment, and we needed a spark. But like I said, most of the time that happens, I go out, I get what I want. And again, I've learned from my mistakes.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, what is your thought process when there is a corner kick?
This is another situational situation on corner kick. So the first thing that I always do with a corner kick, I always reach back out to somebody from the backfield and my defender defend the short play, right? Because sometimes they run quickly, and if we're not paying attention and you don't mention that, everyone's kind of lining up and setting up, and then you're 15, 20, 30 yards away. They can easily pass it off, dribble it, and get a better angle than the corner kick. So after I secure the short play, again, I assess the situation. I always ask somebody, usually a taller player, to defend the front post. And I usually don't have anybody in the back post, but I have somebody back in the back area.
So you don't do the back post more the majority of the time.
Correct. It's more of the front post, and I kind of leaned a little bit more to the half side of the field of the goal area toward the back. And then kind of at that point, kind of play it by position. And, again, if you see that ball and you're going to commit to it, you yell keeper. And, I've always tell my players, hey, look, you know what? If I yell keeper and you decide you want to get in front of me, then we're going to collide. But I'll respect that. There's times where I've called it and someone's made a better angle at me and got to the ball before I did. No disrespect there. And I don't take any of that. It's just we want to be careful, make sure we don't collide into each other. But, again, goes back to another point about being vocal as a goalkeeper.
Gotcha. And thank you for that one as well. Now, is there ever a time to stand still as a goalkeeper, in your opinion?
Never. Always on the move. The ball's on their side of the field. I'm up toward the top of the goal box, again, waiting for an opportunity if there's a through ball. That's usually how I go out of the goals at times, because of the fact that I catch their offense by surprise. And then, as the ball kind of progressively comes back to the goal, then I readjust where I stand inside the box. So my goal by continuously moving is, looking at the angle in which the ball is coming to me at. And the more that the ball is coming to me at a specific angle, that's where I'm going to kind of adjust where my body goes. Right. And it's important to me to kind of make sure that, when the offense is coming my way, that they see me moving, right? I'm not giving them a clear path to the goal, right? I want them to start thinking. And once they start thinking is usually when they might make a mistake or they pause, and either myself or one of my players get the opportunity of going out there and making a play before they even get into the box.
Okay, so I mean, sometimes you're proactive, sometimes you're reactive, but like you said, you're getting in the player's head. I like that. I like
Oh,
that.
absolutely, absolutely. And again, that just comes with experience and having goals scored on you and learning from those and trying to
Right.
do what can you do differently to avoid some of those cheaper goals.
Got you. Got you. Thank you. All right. So when you save the ball in the air, what do you do first? And then when I say save, meaning you save it, catching it, not you haven't dropped it, you caught it. So what do you do right then?
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to like the corner kicks and the free kicks in the area. As I get the ball, I'm already assessing the field and what am I going to be doing with this ball after I catch it, right? Do I do it to the left? Do I do it to the right? Do I do a quick punt, right? And for me, keeping the focus on the field as I'm approaching the ball and catching the ball, it keeps my reaction time very quick, right? And again, it all depends on what's going on with the game. Right. If we're winning, I'm slowing that ball down. Right.
Okay.
Unless I see a clear cut, I can't pass up this opportunity, which I've done from time to time. Doesn't always work out. Sometimes it comes right back after I kick it. But,
Yes.
you know, assessing the situation and making sure that we're, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing after I catch this ball.
Got you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for that one. And when you save the ball laying on the ground, what do you do next?
Definitely have to secure it, right? Got to make sure that, again, depends on the score of the game, right? I might stay on the ground a couple extra seconds. Sometimes people call that theatrical. I say, hey, look, you know what? Giving my team a chance to catch their breath, right? To be able to regroup, get back up on the field. Again, if we're winning. If it's tied or we're losing, it's right back up. Punt, throw the ball out. Let's get the ball down there and let's get a goal.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that one. And who is your favorite goalkeeper and why?
Well, you know what? I think you might remember this name. Do you remember David Seaman?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you would like that, and again, one of his best seasons, I think, was in the early or mid 90s. I think they said he played 38 league games and only had 18 goals scored against him. So, a lot of the things that I've seen online with him and just some of the highlights and, now that, as I grew as a player, right, you can go source out videos and styles and things like that. So there's some things I saw in that goalkeeper and some of his mannerisms that I emulate and just kind of was inspired to duplicate. So
very nice. Very nice. All right, we'll go on to the next one now. Who is your favorite player other than the goalkeeper and why?
That's tough. I mean, there's a lot of great players out there. I'm gonna go back a little bit and I'll say David Beckham, and the reason why is, I think, in 2002, 2003, when he really kind of got into his own, just some of the ways that he scored, right. And watching how he played helped me as a goalkeeper because, as I grew as a keeper, so did the talent around me. Right. And again, 4 decades, different styles, different age groups. Right. And just some of the skill set that had been around me since I've been playing, right? I wanted to prepare myself for anybody who walked onto the field and just to kind of watch what he was able to do with the ball. And specifically, for 2 areas on kind of how he shot from far distance, long distances, be prepared for that. And then also how he was able to get that ball around the wall, right? Like they say, like bend it like Beckham, right? A lot of things that I've learned by just watching some of the goalkeepers' reactions, where you stand in the wall. And he had a lot of those shots that I think, goalkeepers struggled to save. And I kind of watched positionings of other goalkeepers and how they did, just the higher level players. So it was quite interesting of what I learned by watching some of those videos.
So now, do you pick up the spin on the ball? How far out do you watch the spin, or do you watch the player's foot, how he kicks it? That's a question.
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes you get that knuckleball that comes through that, has no spin, that has the trajectory that goes up and down very quickly. I do watch a lot of the foot, right? Inside, outside, left foot, right side, left side. And it's not a foolproof system, but, I also try to position myself as a goalie of only giving him like one option, like one area to kick the ball in, right? Make it a little bit encouraging him to kind of, giving him a little bit of space. So
Right.
that way he's not overthinking and he thinks he has an opportunity where I know I can get to that goalpost before his ball gets there.
Okay.
So I try to play a little bit of that strategic efforts while I'm goalkeeping, just to kind of keep it interesting for the player.
Nice. Nice. Thank you for that. Man, fantastic answers, man. So what are you doing next in your playing career to hope to actually help to do in the future? What do you hope to do?
Well, you know what? I'd like to play for, at least 5+ more years, right? We've got quite a few players on our team that's a lot older than me that I'm inspired to see on the field every Sunday in play. But things that you're doing, Glenn, just kind of giving back to the sport, right? I've been blessed to be able to have a lot of mentorships, a lot of coaches, a lot of people that had philosophies and shared with me. And that's something that I would like to do, whether it's supporting your webcast or youth soccer, things like that. I think, those that have been playing for a long period of time, are blessed to have those relationships and new upcoming players. And we have quite a few on our practice squad that are between the ages of 15 and 21, always asking questions and, whether it's be the perspective of, hey, look, how do you look at this player as a goalkeeper? And then some of our great forwards and strikers and midfielders, you hear a lot of that from the older players on our team, giving back to the younger generation. And that's something that I inspired to do.
Very nice. Thank you. That's commendable there. So what advice do you have for the players your age to affect the game as they're getting older now? What advice do you have?
This is a great question. And, there's a lot of skill set there. There's a lot of things that we can talk about. I talk about the culture of the game, right? The respect, right? Win, lose, or draw, right? We're all going back home to families. We're all going back to jobs.
Right.
And I think respecting everybody, I can battle with somebody, you as an example, right? Great team, great players, battle for 90 minutes. But what did we do at the end of the game? We embraced, we shook hands and we congratulated each other, win, lose, or draw. And I think in today's game, having that camaraderie and that respect for people that you don't even know, but you respect by their game, I think goes leaps and bounds of where we were 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? And we've all been in different style of games and dirty plays, dirty players, and that's part of the game. That's part of the game too. But for me, it's important to give back with the culture side of it and the respect.
Have you ever had a player like come after you? I mean,
not necessarily come after me, but
let me clarify. Come after you meaning like maybe like a couple of times they might have come into the game, into the goal area, and maybe nudged you or gave you an elbow or something like that,
Well, in true fairness, I have received it and I have given it out as well. So, but I will tell you, I don't give it out until I receive it. So, and again, no, it's part of the game.
It's part of the game.
All I ask for, again, is be respectful with it. Those bumps and bruises are going to happen. And, if you don't want to have those, and at least at the goalkeeper position, you're playing on the wrong side of the field.
Got you. Thank you for that. That's awesome. And what changes would you like to see in our current game?
Well, one of the changes that I wanted to see that's actually happening this year, and it's equality for women in the realm, whether it's soccer or any other type of sports. And I caught some news feeds a few months back that in this FIFA World Cup, there's actually going to be 6 female referees.
Correct, referees. That's correct.
Yeah. And I say that because there's this sport is global, right? And women and men should have fair equality, whether it be reffing, coaching, salaries. Not just for soccer. I mean, you see it in the NBA, WNBA. And other sports venues. But, in regards to soccer, as I grew up, in the early 80s, it was mainly just a male sport. And just to kind of see how it's already evolving and revolving, it's nice to see. So some of those things that I'd like to see are actually happening.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I appreciate all the answers, man, and I'll end it with this. I kind of give you long-winded here, and you got any shout-outs? Any shout-outs for anyone?
Oh man, you got about an hour. But no, seriously though, I want to shout out to my beautiful family: Jane, Gara, Naomi, Tyler, Mona, Gala, Ivan, my brother Scott, what I mentioned earlier, my sister Debbie, and the entire Pars family. Right, I don't want to say one name without saying the others, so that you know who you are.
Right, you know who you
It's just
are.
a close
Exactly.
knit group family, and just people that I've loved for many years and have had much respect with, on and off the field.
All right, brother. We got interrupted. I wanted to throw in a little highlight reel there, and
That's
put
good
that
stuff
in.
right there.
So,
I appreciate it.
so hope you enjoyed that. We did a little special one to surprise you with that. Just showing your your teammates.
I did. I appreciate that.
And exactly what you do on the pitch and things like that as well. So again, just really thank you for coming on.
I appreciate
your time.
it.
Again, over the years, and you've shown me, as a player. Well, I mean, I know when we walk on the pitch and we see each other, we're like, okay, it's getting ready to be an award today. We're both bringing it. And you've always shown an A+. I thank you for that. Thank you for that. And again,
I appreciate it. Much respect for you, your family, man. Way to give it back. If you could send me a link to this, if it posts anywhere, I appreciate it.
No problem. Definitely will. Definitely will. And appreciate your time again, man. Thank you. All right. So thank you again, everyone, for with Mr. Spraker and myself, and we just really wanted to thank you. We're just trying to make a difference in others and others around us, to just bring a different aspect, a different technology as we're using to teach the game, let people be aware of the game, and this is how we want to affect the game. Again, and appreciate everything that you all are doing. You all take